Hey, how's everybody doing today? Denise Wellick-Peterson, Hormone Boot Camp. This week we are talking meal basics. So we've talked about exercise. Last week we talked a little bit about knowing your cycle and knowing each of the four goddesses that show up every month, right? Week 1, we have Frisky Fiona. Week 2, She-Ra Sherry. Week 3, Laid Back Leona. Week 4, Yoga Yvonne. But let's talk about meals, because just like any exercise program, you can't out-train a bad diet, right? So today we're talking about the basics of food. We're talking about just kind of all month long, what's the best strategy? And then the rest of the week, we're going to spend one day this week with each of those goddesses, right? So tomorrow we'll talk specifically about Fiona, Wednesday, Sherry, etc., right? Okay, so today we're building the framework, the month-long framework that's, if you do nothing else, this is going to be a big shift for you, okay? In fact, if you're not currently working with your cycle right now, just making these changes is going to make a big difference, right? So here we go, meals 101. First thing, eat your protein. You got to eat protein. 125 grams is bare bones minimum if you are postmenopausal. If you are no longer cycling, 125 grams of protein every single day is a minimum. Okay? And depending on how much you're working out and how much muscle mass you have, this might go up to 150, 160 grams of protein every single day, right? Now, if you're getting nowhere near that right now, that might sound like a big, scary number. And I wouldn't say go from wherever you are to 125, but start adding it in, right? And this week I'm going to teach you where some places are that you can add these numbers in, okay? So protein could be protein shakes, it could be eggs, it could be meat, it could be meatless proteins, right? We'll talk more about it all week long, but 125 to 150 grams of protein a day. Now, husband came home. Moving rooms. Now, something you need to... Something a lot of women struggle with is when they track their food, it triggers them into a diet mindset. I love MyFitnessPal on the short term. Google Nutrition, whatever makes you happy, but I need you to track your food for a little bit. I need you to know what you are eating. Like, some people might believe they are getting 100 grams of protein, but after they track, they find they're only getting 50 grams. That's a lot more protein. Or they think they're getting only 50 grams to discover they're getting 175, right? So it's important to kind of know where you're starting. So a lot of times when I start with a new client, I will talk about, okay, let's get on MyFitnessPal. Let's see where you're at. I don't want you to change a thing. I just want you to see where you're at and then show me where you're at so I can help you, right? Okay, so first of all, you're getting your protein, 125 grams. That's almost a minimum no matter where you are in your phase, in your cycle, guys. Okay? Next up, I need you to fill up on vegetables. Protein is going to help you feel full longer. It's going to help boost your energy. It's going to help you sleep better. It's going to boost your libido. It's going to do a ton of things. If you're not getting enough, you're going to be amazed. And it's going to help fill you up. Secondarily, though, we need to focus on vegetables, preferably fibery vegetables, preferably green vegetables, just getting it in there. Hey, Teresa, how are you doing? So I don't want you to focus on all the things at once, but maybe figure out where you are. I really just want you to put the food in MyFitnessPal. A super happy Denise says you should be getting 50 grams of fiber a day. The average American gets 15 to 20. Okay, so that's a big number. Again, don't go from where you're at to 50. You're going to have to try at it, but try adding a little bit more. Just get the vegetables in, okay? Next, lower glycemic fruits. So lower glycemic fruits are fruits that have less impact on your sugar, thus your insulin. So we're looking at more seedy fruits like raspberries, blackberries, strawberries, berries, right? Versus melons. Watermelon, super high glycemic. If you want watermelon, go for it. I mean, if the option is watermelon or a tablespoon of sugar, please have the watermelon. ideals, right? Lower glycemic, go for the berries. And then next is just a little bit of starch at supper time, right? And at supper time is kind of important because having that little bit of starch is going to help you sleep, right? And that little bit of starch can be anything from 5 to 15 bites, say, of a potato. It kind of depends on how you burn sugar, okay? And that's a topic for another day. And then fats. Carbs, all in, fruits, vegetables, starches. I'm looking for 120 to 150 grams of protein a day. That's super easy to get to if you're throwing in a lot of rice or pasta, but it can be more challenging if you're eating a lot of green vegetables, okay? So again, just track it, just put it in MyFitnessPal so we can find out the number. Where are you at right now? And then fats, we're looking for good fats, coconut oil, egg yolks, olive oil, just not fried food, right? We're looking for good fats. We're looking for 60 to 90 grams a day. I just want to know where you're at to start with. Again, if you're eating a lot of junk, my husband bought Little Debbie birthday cakes last week. Oh my God. First of all, read the ingredient list. What a shit show. Secondly, holy shit, I had 2 of them. They're like those sticks. I had hot flashes like nobody's business. I haven't had hot flashes since last year's Girl Scout debacle. So this tells me something very bad in these Little Debbies. That's just my thing. So getting that much fat could be super duper easy if you're eating all Little Debbies. Or it could be really hard if you're eating super clean, right? Let's just figure out where you're at. Okay, so 125 grams of protein, 120 grams of carbs, 60 grams of fats. Those are big numbers, Denise. Those are scary. Yeah. Don't freak out on them yet. If you could give me 3 days. In fact, if you want to send me 3 days worth of what you eat on MyFitnessPal, track it, no cheating, put everything in there, track it and send it to me. I'd be happy to give you feedback on that. Okay? So there's that. Okay, but what does that look like to eat, Denise? Okay, here's some basic framework for you for the whole month, right? Breakfast is a protein shake or some kind of scramble dish, right? Some people make a baked egg dish that they eat off of all week. Other people make those little egg in the muffin tin things, right? With vegetables and meat and whatever so that they can just grab and go. Could be an omelet, could be any kind of scramble, right? Something with vegetables in it. There's how you get vegetables for breakfast, in an omelet. Lunch looks like a big old salad or soup with meat in it, right? That satisfies the vegetables, that satisfies the protein, right? But a big salad, not like in a little cereal bowl, like a big salad. So do you guys do those prepackaged salads? When I talk about prepackaged salads, do you know what I'm talking about? I go to the Walmart and I get me a salad. I don't know, it's 14 ounces, 16 ounces. On the back, it says servings 3.5 per bag. That is a 1 serving size package for Denise. I will sit down and I will eat the whole package for lunch. Yes, I eat the crumbles, and yes, I do. I'll get back to that, Teresa. I see your question. I eat the crumbles, I eat the fruit, I eat maybe half to all of the dressing. It depends. If the choice is I will eat the salad but only with all the dressing, or I won't eat the salad with all the dressing. You need the vegetables, right? Let's change one thing at a time. Okay, or soup. A snack can either be between breakfast and lunch or between lunch and dinner. Depends on how your day falls. When I'm going to the gym, I get up very, very early, so mine is after breakfast. You do you, whatever works for you. You want a protein and a vegetable, right? This could be apple slices and turkey. This could be meatballs. This could be hummus and zucchini. Whatever. We got to find you a protein and a vegetable, right? Because we got to get the protein and the vegetables in, and that's where that is. And then supper is a protein, a vegetable, and a starch. A steak, a half a potato, and a half a plate of green vegetables. And I eat them. I always always, first bite is always protein, because that's going to blunt the insulin effect of, having that starch right away. And the starch is going to set off a sugar response, is going to set off an insulin response, means your whole meal is going to be stored as fat. So always start with your protein first. You don't have to eat the whole steak first, but have a couple bites of steak first. Okay, let's go back here to Teresa's question. Don't eat the berries then. So Teresa's got diverticulitis. Yes. Don't eat the berries. But don't swap it out for a bunch of melon, right? Have some melon. What about kiwi? The seeds in that, stuff like that kind of bother you too? You just dial back on the fruits. That's the gist of that. Okay. The other framework. So you've got your overall month-long framework. You've got your protein, your vegetables, your fruits, your carbs, your fats, your starchy carbs, your fats, right? Now, we've got the estrogen phase and the progesterone leg. So I want you to think about it like the Eiffel Tower, right? You've got all the basics, and then we've got the estrogen phase and the progesterone phase. Estrogen phase is the first 2 weeks, so that's during Fiona and Shira's time. And then the progesterone phase, that is the last half of the cycle. That's during Leona and Yvonne's time, right? So we'll talk about this again each of those days. During the estrogen phase, if you're seed cycling, and again, I've got a couple of clients that have diverticulitis, and some of the seeds work for them, some of them don't. Not all the protocols can be used by everybody. Okay, so do what you can do, and maybe you don't start with the seed cycling. Okay, so estrogen phase, pumpkin seeds and flax seeds. Progesterone phase, sesame seeds and sunflower seeds. Okay. Estrogen phase, we focus on carbs and carb cycling and cooling foods like turkey, chicken, and spices. We'll talk more about those in the next couple days. Over in the progesterone phase, the last half of your cycle, we focus on a couple of fasting days and some warming foods like beef, bacon, wine. The good stuff. Okay, chicken's fine too, but bacon, I like bacon and wine. Okay, so seeing no other questions, we're going to call that a day. Tomorrow we are going to have a specific, we're going to talk about Fiona. We're going to talk more about the estrogen phase. And every day this week, I'm going to give you a sample. This is what you might eat during a day of this week. Like bit by bit, meal by meal, right? Including the what nots tos and the what tos. Okay? So join me every day this week, lunchtime, sometime between 11 and 1. I'll try and let you know what I'm shooting for. And we'll get this figured out, okay? Have a most fantastic afternoon.